Tales just get reminded. They get brought up to my conscious.
You got that old man dementia, man. You forget your own tall tales.
I've gone through so much. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas, home of the Riverwalk, the silver and black San Antonio Spurs for 3 glorious Sundays, the New Orleans Saints back in the day, UTSA Roadrunners, St. Mary's Rattlers, UIW Cardinal, Trinity Tigers. Welcome to San Antonio. My name's Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia producing today's show. We go for about an hour and 15 minutes. We're exclusive right now on YouTube, but later on in the day, you can find us on all the major podcast platforms. If you want to be part of the show, reach out to us, leave us a comment. Comments already coming in already from Matt Lerma, Chris Gonzalez, Chris Leha.
I like
Van Stain.
Look at this. I bet Joe will mess up again. I bet you I won't.
Oh, yeah. We're going to try to figure that out. Top right corner, there is a buy us a coffee QR code. If you want to tip us, it's not tipping me. It's tipping Joe. If you want to help pay for some of the equipment that we have here,
let it rain.
Say a thank you. Let it rain. You know, we like the movie Coming to America. We appreciate the money that jingles, but we really do want the money that folds. Okay. You can tip $1, $5, $20, whatever the case may be. You know, we would appreciate it. We'd appreciate it. John C. reaching out to us already saying UIW should be called the Fighting Cardinals. Man, after that brawl from a couple of nights ago over there at UIW as they lost to A&M Commerce, and they were pissed off about that.
Hey, I was going to say, I did something interesting. I connected something called our cloud bot, right?
Yeah.
So now when the listeners or the viewers comment, look what happens. Their comments just magically appear here on the screen.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we have some other things that are be coming out, but I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to bring that to their attention.
Well, as you know, we do sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Are we going to, we have to talk about Dak Prescott because Bleacher Report is basically saying, Cowboy fans, brace yourself. Dak's going to be the highest paid player in the NFL, the highest paid player in league history this summer. And why is it so? Why do the Cowboys have no leverage? We'll kind of explain that as well. College Football Playoff Committee has finally released the details of what the playoff will look like this upcoming season. We'll get into that. Spurs talk. Jeff Garcia from Lockdown Spurs asked the question, what is the one storyline that we're looking forward to this year as the Spurs end their season? I know they're on the rodeo road trip. They get back on the court tomorrow. But is there something that you're focusing on as the season comes to a close? We're going to talk about exotic animals.
Exotic? You're not like Mike Exotic?
Like Mike Exotic, yeah. Apparently, police in Northeast Texas freaked out because they were called to a park, and the animal they found was bizarre because it ain't nowhere near coming from Texas. It's coming from continents away.
Down
and
under.
The weird thing is it's actually legal to own here, so we'll talk about that as well. We'll get into some pop culture as well, but are we going to let fate decide this, Joe?
I think we are, man. So
Joe has the wheel of death, the wheel of fortune over here.
Here it is.
And it's going to help us decide today if we're going to talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia, or if I'm going to give a tall tale.
I hope it lands on tall tales.
Well, I don't have a tall tale coming to mind other than one that I can bring up from the past. But
well, you see, this is the thing with the tall tales. They don't all have to be true.
No, they have to be true. It's kind of like when I was talking about the nostalgic movie reviews, people would always come up to me at a bar or at a restaurant or at a Spurs game, and they'll be like, Jimenez, man, we love that bit that you do about how you'd never watched these movies before. And it's so cool that you're going back and pretending like you had never seen them. And I had to like touch them on the shoulder and say, dude, I honestly had never seen these movies before.
It's a bit.
They thought it was a bit. And I'm like, no, it's not a bit. That's just my life. That's just it.
Oh, man.
And so it's kind of funny. So the eyes would bug out. They're like, we just thought it was a bit. The tall tales are not a bit. The tall tales actually happen. Now, I can do a flashback to one of the glorious ones. I'll probably do the one from Vegas. For those of you who don't know this one,
God.
I mentioned how I got punched in the face in Vegas. Actually, face was the cheek. That's part of the face. So I guess that is what it is. But we're taking the show on the road in about 4 weeks. We'll be doing the show from March Madness there in Sin City.
What Mario Cavasso says, maybe pay for a 6-pack if Mike adds you into one of his tall tales.
There you go. There you go. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what we're talking about first. And for those of you who are following us right now on YouTube, Do you like this? Do you like fate deciding what we're talking about?
Yes.
Tall tale. All right, tall tale time.
I was hoping it was gonna land on Tall Tales.
Now, this is the only one I can think of because I told this story yesterday in a client meeting. Because we were talking about Vegas and whatnot. And I'll be in Vegas in 4 weeks. My friends and I typically go for March Madness. And I don't go every year, but I at least go every other year. And there was one time I went for Super Bowl, and I got so drunk at one of the parties there because the Super Bowl party was $250, all you can eat, all you can drink for the entire game. 2 hours before the game, 2 hours after the game. It was an entire night. I probably downed an entire bottle of Crown. I ditched my friends and I went off for a walk. And I just remember waking up the next morning. And when I woke up, I had no idea where I was. I was off the strip. I had my clothes on. My shoes were still on. And I'm freaking out because I don't remember checking into a hotel. I go to the nightstand. I find my wallet. All my winning Super Bowl tickets are there. And there's a mountain of chips there. A couple of grand in chips. I have no idea where this all came from. So there I am pocketing all this stuff. I call downstairs and I ask the question, where am I? And they say, well, sir, you're at the Hooters Hotel.
The Hooters.
So I look out the window and I'm like, oh my God, I'm off the strip. Not that far off the strip, but I apparently had walked over 2 miles to get there, drunk off my ass. And I go downstairs to check out, and I'm just telling them, I'm thinking to myself, man, my wife's gonna be pissed off because, you know, if there's a $400 charge, because it was a nice room, $400 charge, I'm gonna be screwed. And they're like, sir, we got you for just $69. It's perfectly fine. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm just looking around, I'm checking out, and they're laughing at me. Like the front desk is laughing at me. And for those of you who don't know the Hooters Hotel, it's now called the Ojos Locos Hotel because they bought it. For those of you who don't remember, for those of you who ever been there, it's a small casino.
Yeah.
It's a small hotel. It's maybe 4 stories, 6 stories tops. Well, anyway, I'm coming out and they're giggling at me. And I'm like, everything okay? And I just basically asked them about it. And they said, sir, you were out of control last night. You were at the craps table just throwing a heater. And you were falling over. Chips were flying all over the place. You were dropping chips. We had to go monitor you and make sure that your chips were, you know, in your possession. And we realized that you were too drunk. So what we did is we took your debit card out and we actually just gave you a room. And you stumbled the entire time, but we halfway carried you to the room, got you onto the bed, made sure you were fine, put all your winnings on the table, made sure your wallet was there, and then we just left you alone. Okay, I didn't even get under the covers. I woke up on top of the covers. Right,
you're that trash, bro.
Yeah. So I asked the guys that were down there who had seen all this, me going wild at the craps table, stumbling drunk. What time was that? And they all started laughing. They're like, sir, that was about an hour ago.
Oh, man.
Power nap, baby. Puke and rally, baby.
Puke and rally.
Like, no, I didn't puke, but it was still funny, dude.
Hey, but I think it's fun to add the wheel in here.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it up to the viewers, too. You know, we're going to go ahead and start a little poll. And we're going to ask you guys, what topics would you like us to put on the wheel?
Yeah.
And that way we can spin it maybe tomorrow, because it's going to be Throwback Thursday.
You know, and maybe if we get prizes to give away in the future, maybe we put their names on there. We could use that. James Molina reaches out on our YouTube stream, says, I hit 700 on a Wheel of Fortune slot at Hooters. Good times. Dude, there's this girl that I follow on Instagram who swears that you can find out which slot machine is going to pay out at some point. Okay, so when it comes to slot machines, depending on the casino, casinos will give away anywhere between 92% to 99% of what's put in. Okay, so casinos pocket $1 or $8, between $1 and $8 for every 100 that gets put in the machine. So they spit out the money, right? They're not just pocketing the money. They're going to spit it out. And when you go around the casinos, they will actually advertise this from time to time. Like, these are 98% slot machines and stuff like that. People don't even see that. So there's this belief that if you have a 93% payout machine, that you're losing 7 cents for every dollar you put into it. But what happens if the jackpots are high? Well, if the jackpots are high, it hasn't paid out yet. So there's this girl that goes around who monitors all of these slot machines and knows what the average jackpot is. And if she goes to a machine that has an abnormally high jackpot, she theorizes that every spin might make her about $1.20 for every dollar she puts in there. And she says that she's a professional slot machine player, that she's making money. And she shows all these jackpots that she hits. Now I'm excited to go play slots because I've never been a slot guy.
You got a little slot hack. Slot hack is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dancing drums is my favorite one. I mean, I do play some slots, but I never put more than $50 in. But I think this time I might put 200 or 300 in.
See what happens.
Yeah. See what happens.
Look at what John C. said, man.
Put 400 in red and hit. Was shaky and quiet as I walked to the cashier to cash out. Dude, there's
good man.
There's I'm glad you mentioned that because I went to Vegas one time with one of my best friends, and he put down $40 on red, and he hit. So it's $80, right? He said, "Let it ride," and it hit. And there's 160 on there, and he goes, "Let it ride," and he hit, and it was 320. And he goes, "Let it ride."
Oh, no.
And he hit, and it was 640. And at this point, I'm grabbing him by the shoulder. I'm like, "Joseph, leave." And I said, "You got $640 on the table." And he goes, "No, I don't. I got $40. Like in his mind, he told himself it's still just $40 because that's what he started with.
Yeah.
They spun it again. It hit $1,000 or like $1,200. He goes, "Cash out."
Yeah, I'm done.
Cash out. And that's the thing about like craps, for example. You want to make money on craps. You got to not hit the number. You got to hit the number like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So if you buy the 10 for $12, you hit it, you got to press it. You hit it again, you got to press it. And then you hit it again, then you draw out.
Yeah.
And because the numbers are, you're going to lose more often than you win. So you got to actually play the odds and try to make the odds work in your favor.
Yeah.
So it's so cool, man. Chris Gonzalez reaches out and says, "I bet Mike is going to rent a scooter and just ride around playing the slots at the same time." Have you seen that video of that one guy who's on the scooter and he has money in all 5 of the machines and he's spinning around, hitting the spin button. And he's going spin.
That's skill right there.
He's just going in a circle the entire time.
That's freaking awesome, bro. That's skill right there, man. That's
and you know what's so funny? Why do people on TikTok, not on TikTok, on Twitter and on this YouTube stream think that like I'm like so out of shape that I can't do shit? I referee high school basketball, you jackasses. I run up and down the court. Dude, I ran a 5K the other day in 35 minutes. I actually can do stuff. You make it sound like I'm having to go wheel myself around HEB. You know, it's funny because I used to have this one friend. We'd go to HEB and we'd see somebody who was like really overweight on the scooters, right?
Yeah.
Or on the motorized shopping cart.
It's a motorized scooter, yeah.
And he'd look at me, and I swear I didn't say this, but I laughed and I felt like I was going to hell. He goes, how did he phrase it? Fat because she needs a scooter, or needs a scooter because she's fat. Oh, something to that effect, man. But dude, I was reading an article today. Speaking of Vegas,
you got it on screen?
I'm gonna look it up right now. I read this morning, and this is what's freaking me out. This is according to CBS Las Vegas. Bed bugs have been found in 4 Las Vegas hotels in the past 5 months.
So money's not the only thing you're bringing back home.
I know, man. So
that's one of the hardest things to ever get rid of, because they showed how they get rid of bed bugs.
Yeah.
And they got to get an exterminator, and they put like heaters in the room and they just cook the rooms, and you got to like destroy all the bedding and everything. I mean, it's just a mess, man.
So here's the thing, where this was found are really nice hotels.
Oh,
the Venetian, which is where I've stayed in the past. Now, I've never paid to stay at the Venetian because it's expensive.
Yes.
But I have business trips out there. They put me up over there. Great hotel.
Bed bugs.
Delmonico, excellent restaurant. Bed bugs at the Venetian. Yep. Also at the Mirage, Excalibur, which is kind of a crappy hotel, and then Encore, which is also a very fancy hotel. They found bed bugs there. Jonathan C reaching out and saying Excalibur is extremely underrated. I mean, you can go there in order to get the $5 blackjack table.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to play $5 craps, dude, I love Fremont, man.
The Fremont?
Fremont experience is so great. It's so designed for us, man. It's designed for dad rock. It's designed for divorced dad rock as well, because you go over there and the music is all from the 90s.
Nice. I that's my jam, dude. I like that.
Oh my God, man. The Fremont hotels. I'm going to look up one right now. There is oh my God, what is the name of that hotel? Is it Edgewater or something to that effect, where they have the dancing girls that they have these girls that are in like bikinis that basically do the blackjack and the roulette and all that stuff. And then every like 15 minutes out of the hour, they get up on top and they start dancing.
Yeah.
Dude, those girls, nuggets,
all of them.
That's so funny.
Man, somebody like, we got to start talking about, I don't know if you can bring it up, but go to the X and type in this in when you're searching for something, type in Wemby billboard.
Okay.
Wemby billboard. And just scroll down a little bit, because somebody did like a drone footage of the billboard. It looks pretty damn cool, man. It's all shot in black and white.
Is it the Louis Vuitton billboard?
Yeah, it's just Wemby billboard, and you can see the Louis Vuitton billboard. And if you start scrolling down, once you have your search, you're gonna see some things, and one of those is like drone footage that's on X, and it's showing the actual billboard. And
well, I haven't seen it yet, but here's the photo of the billboard. If you want to go on to,
there we are.
Right here we have Louis Vuitton.
Yeah. So what
with the Tower of Americas in the background?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the viewers here, what do y'all think of Wemby's billboard? He looks very dapper there.
I love it, dude.
You know,
I love it. And if you can bring some sort of cosmopolitan vibe to San Antonio, that would be amazing. It would be amazing if Wemby played in San Antonio for 15, 18 years and brought fashion to San Antonio. Can you imagine if San Antonio became a place that was known for stuff like that? If our culture was beyond what you find at Market Square, if our culture was actually something more international flavor, you know, that would be cool, man. Because why does it always have to be Houston? Why does it always have to be Dallas?
But they need to make clothes that fits Mexicans. I mean, because we're of a certain stature, you know? And if you go and you buy clothes, they're not made for your body type, man.
Dude, I go shopping for dress clothes a lot because, you know, just work-related stuff. And I always ask the question, why is there so much slim fit in San Antonio at these stores? Who the hell is slim in this town? Okay,
exactly,
not to be Charles Barkley or anything like that, but there's not a lot of slim people. We all have dad bods at the very least, but that Louis Vuitton billboard looks spectacular.
Looks legit.
Mario Cavazos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream and says he's never been to Las Vegas, but he's scared that he might end up like Mike, not knowing where I ended up or what I was doing.
That's a wild night.
Dude, you know, Vegas is fun, dude. I mean, it's fun. I am like Tim Duncan in my later part of my career, because I can play and party like an all-star one night, but the next day I ain't getting drunk. I have some friends who go get drunk in Vegas 4 nights in a row. No, I got 2 nights in me, man. I'm gonna party like a rock star, like an all-star. I'll go to 3, 4, 5 in the morning, but the next day I'm drinking a lot of water, baby.
Oh man,
not a lot of scotch in that water. But again, the photo of Victor Wembanyama, arms stretched out, looking good.
Hey, I'm gonna do something here. I don't know if we're gonna hear the video or the audio. I'm trying not to get the audio to come out here.
You pay a buck because you mess up?
No. What I'm trying to do actually is I'm trying to see if I can get this to the chat to pop out here, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if we can do something here. We can go ahead and start a little poll for our fans here.
Interesting.
So what should we ask them?
We should ask them in a poll question.
In a poll question.
You know what? I had a conversation with a friend yesterday about this. Pedicures.
Oh, God.
Yes or no for a guy to get a pedicure? I'm not saying like every month, but once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Would you be down with that? Do you like doing that? Or are you opposed to that?
Pedicure. I mean, wait. I'm asking for questions. And Mike's asking for pedicures.
Well, no, because
bro.
I joked with a friend of mine that this was going to be a poll question on Twitter. I just forgot to post it.
Okay.
I think it's a very valid question. And what's so funny is that the ones that say no are the ones who have never had it, and the ones that say yes are the ones who are like, "Oh, dude, I've had it before. Of course I would."
How should we phrase this? Is it okay for a guy to get a pedicure?
There you go. Yay or nay. So, how about this for a question as well? Maybe down the road, because it was on TikTok yesterday, and Richard Jefferson, that bald MFer, former Spur, one of the few times the Spurs had like a free agent that came to San Antonio, right? I mean, Richard Jefferson was pretty legit back in the day.
Dick Jefferson.
Did you hear what he called Tim Duncan?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I want to play that sound. Are you ready to play that sound?
Yeah, I just started the poll right now, so
Okay,
it's there for the
so
fans.
I'm gonna flash this down. So he was on a podcast with comedian Steve Morrell over the weekend, but it got released yesterday. And I like Steve Morrell. He's a funny comedian. He had Richard Jefferson on, former Spur, and this is how he describes Tim Duncan.
Do you play with Steph? You play with LeBron?
Steph, Tim Duncan, Dirk.
You play with Duncan too.
Yeah, I
that's
played
right.
with Duncan. He doesn't want to remember that. It was a terrible. Let me go on record here. He's one of the biggest holes
Really?
in the funniest way. I'll just be doing a game. He hadn't texted me in 6 months, and he'll just say some disrespectful to me in the middle of a game, right? And then that's just it. Then I'll respond back to him. He won't respond. He won't respond. He won't.
Hilarious.
He doesn't like me. He just. But it's like he's one of those guys. Like if you want to talk to him about basketball, he's kind of like Jokic. He doesn't give a.
Tim Duncan's like, I'll talk Mario Kart.
Oh,
I won't talk.
bro. He was like, "Hey, Rich, you want to come up to my room?" I think he had just gotten like the new Mortal Kombat or something. So I'm down, right?
Yeah.
So I go up to his room, right? And so we're playing this. You know how like you can get those like the books that have like all the moves and.
Oh yeah.
He's like in the book like this. And I'm like, really? That's what you do? I was like, bro, isn't this like hey, I remember this move from Liu Kang. Like
Right.
I'm gonna work on this. Okay, I remember this one. Okay, let me try. He's like, he just opened the and was like, look, such a nerd, such a nerd. But then he whooped my ass about like 200 times. He's like, all right, you can go.
1,128
That is Richard
meter
Jefferson.
headshot.
It's showing the grandpa gamer.
That is Richard Jefferson with comedian Sam Morrell yesterday. Well, actually, the podcast was on Sunday. It dropped yesterday, and I saw that, and I was like, asking myself the question: does Richard Jefferson actually like Tim Duncan? Because if you called somebody an asshole, but in a funny way, I mean, do you have conflicted feelings? I mean, at least he was smiling and laughing about it, saying how Tim Duncan reaches out to him after 6 months, not talking to him, knows that he's on TV and starts talking trash. And when he gets responded to, doesn't respond back. So is Tim Duncan just basically a troll is what he's calling him. And now you laughed at the video game aspect of it all.
Yeah, it is funny, dude, because that's Tim Duncan.
That he's learning all the codes, all the cheat codes.
That's Tim Duncan, man. Tim Duncan, they used to get down back in the day, like Tim Duncan, I think it was David Robinson, Sean Elliott. They have pictures of them where they're in the plane.
Yeah.
And they're all getting down with like Starfield, or I don't know what it was. Some game that they were playing back in the day on laptops, the old laptop computers.
Yeah.
They were all networked to, and
that
to
was
each other,
funny.
playing games. And even when he won the championship, I think in '99, they went back to the room and play video games. Like they didn't celebrate.
Nerd alert. Sith reaches out and says, his name is Sam Morrell, not Steve. I do know it's Sam Morrell. I just misspoke. Okay. I'm doing a show trying to monitor 4 or 5 different things. It came out wrong. Now, Sam Morrell gets some credit for me because his ex-girlfriend is Taylor Tomlinson. Now, I got to ask this question. Is Taylor Tomlinson a nugget? So Taylor Tomlinson's a very, very famous comedian. She has a new special that dropped on Netflix this past weekend. She performed here in San Antonio at the Majestic Theater. Let's just show a photo of Taylor Tomlinson here.
Okay, let's go ahead and switch over.
Is she, in fact, a nugget?
She cute.
And he dropped the ball on this one. She makes jokes about herself, saying that the way that she looks, that she's not hot. She's like pretty to the point where people want to like be in relationships with her, want to introduce her to mom and dad. That she has that vibe that it's like she's pretty enough to take home, but because of something or another, because she's a comedian, she can't get a guy to stay forever. But they were together for quite some time, Summerell. But Taylor Thompson, I will say this. She's in the tournament. She's in the tournament, the March Madness tournament. She's in there because she's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a certain hotness that goes with funny. Like Anna Kendrick is funny, and that makes her even hotter than she is. Taylor Tomlinson on her own, not a comedian, looks okay. A comedian who's very talented becomes hotter. It's like girls who play guitar. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, she can be homely as well, but when dolled up, not bad.
Oh, look at that. We've already got 12 votes on the poll. Is it okay for a guy to get a pedicure? 83% say yes. 17% say no.
Dude, it's the year 2024, baby.
I've never had a pedicure in my life.
You know what? My dad was given a pedicure gift card a long time ago, because my dad, you know, he has worked a very, very hard life, you know, all the things that he has done in his life. And he, even to this day in his 80s, he gets up every morning to do stuff around the house and to recycle things. And he works in the yard every day. But your feet, if you don't take care of them, become kind of grungy after a while. They become ugly, right? And they become all hard on the back end, and people live hard lives. My dad was given that, and the second that he went, he did not want to go. The second that he went there, he was like, "Ay, mijo, this was the nicest thing ever." Pedicures are fun, dude.
Oh my,
they're fun. But I will say, I will say this though. Pedicures are fun if either A or fine.
Okay.
If you go by yourself or if you go with your girl. Okay.
I could see somebody doing that.
Okay. Go by yourself, go with your girl.
Yeah.
I go once a year, no more than twice.
One of my best friends, she tried to get me to go with her one time.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm going to go get a pedicure. Let's go." I'm like, "No." She's like, come on. I'm like, no.
You will love it. If given the choice of going to get a massage and massage envy or getting a pedicure, I'll take the pedicure.
God, look at Daniel Castro from Castro and Son Solar. Shout out to you, brother. Mike takes it overboard and gets a facial, right? Right.
Now, have you ever had your eyebrows done?
I've only, you know what? I went and got a haircut one time, right?
Yeah.
At a barbershop, right? I was at the barbershop. And I guess my brows were bushy or something. And the guy goes, "Hey, bro, you want me to get that for you?" I'm like, "I guess," you know, I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and then they put the wax on?
No, he just put like the comb like right here.
Oh, and he
just went,
okay.
He goes, "I got you, bro." I was like, "Okay, I guess."
Okay, I've done that both ways where that was one time they've had where they, like you said, they take the comb, the fine comb.
Yeah.
And they kind of move. Maybe they get the little scissors, so they kind of just
he just used
take the top end.
The trimmer, man. He just
no. But you go to the Asian lady in the back of the room. They lay you down and they put wax right here, and it literally takes like 30 seconds. And then they get a piece of tape, go, and then they just kind of like take the scissors out. Costs like $8, $10.
Man, I never had.
I do that once a year.
I never had that done.
I had that done about maybe about a week ago. You can tell. I have two eyebrows now.
Oh man, you don't have the unibrow.
We are in the line. I mean, it's 2024. Manscaping, baby. That's a big deal. You go on to ESPN and you watch Sports Center. Manscaping is like all over the place over there. You got to trim the bushes every once in a while.
My boy Daniel Castro's on point with this one, man. As we get older, we got to take care of that nose and ear hair growing out of weird places. No lies detected, man.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
That is very true. Now, going to the pedicure thing, by the way, it's a foot massage. They grate you, they like a cheese grater to the bottom of your feet, dude. It leaves like a mountain of what looks like Parmesan, but it's your feet, and all of a sudden your feet feel smooth.
That's disgusting.
And then they trim your nails, and they get all that black gunk and shit that goes underneath your toenail that develops there, and then they polish your nail so that it actually feels like smooth as opposed to like scaly. Dude,
look at Jason Garcia.
And They're giving you 2 or 3 margaritas while you're doing it,
Hey, that's not a
or
bad
2 or
thing,
3
man.
beers,
I'll
or
drink.
2 or 3 glasses of wine. So it's more of an experience on top of it all. I am pro pedicure.
Jason says the smell of the strong nail polish makes him sick, right?
Oh, that's true. The acetone.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I can get that, because you even like walking in a mall or just in a store or something, sometimes like at Walmart, for example, right? The one right here off of Loop 410,
Yeah.
Southwest Loop 410. When you're walking out, depending on which way you came in, you walk by that little nail place and you can smell that shit. I always hold my breath because it's strong.
It
dude.
is strong. But here's the thing. I'm pro pedicure if you go by yourself, go with a girl. But if it's a bunch of dudes going together, no. I'm not going to call you up and Jeff Garcia and
Jeff
Chris
will go
Leha.
with you, bro. Jeff would go with you.
I am not going to call all you guys up and go, hey, fellas, you know what? Before we go to Twin Peaks, let's go get a pedicure. Come on, guys' day, guys' night,
Guys' day.
Yeah,
No,
let's go
man.
day drinking over there. No,
Look at
go with
this,
a
man.
girl, go by yourself, and that's
Daniel Castro is on one today. He says, Mike, that's because your feet are whack. Because you go get a pedicure.
it. No, my feet are not whack because I get pedicures.
Look at Swiss says Mike got them eagle claws.
Oh no, they're called talons, by the way. My friends and I refer to
Talons.
them as talons. You got to get your talons taken care of. This show has gone off the rails.
It
dude.
has, man. We're gonna talk about sports at some point.
Nah,
Right?
screw that, man. Screw that. We've talked about Taylor Tomlinson, Sam Morril. We've talked about Richard Jefferson. We've we've buried the lead.
Dick Jefferson.
We've buried the lead. All right, let's talk about
Look at that. I agree with Swiss. Bunch of dudes
going is just moist.
For real, bro. That's what I'm saying, man.
Dude, I don't know why women hate the word moist. They just do. It's one of my favorite lines from the show New Girl. I know New Girl's a chick flick type of a TV show, but one of the Wayans brothers who played Coach, he goes, I'm going to make a cake that's so moist. Women are going to be like, ooh, I hate that word. I'm going to be like, taste that cake. And they're going to be like, ooh. And he's going to be like, just taste that cake. And then they go, ooh, that's so moist.
Oh,
I love that line. I don't know
Bro.
why. It's such a great.
You just gave them more
nasty
fuel
line.
to add to your cooking,
I don't
bro.
give a shit.
You know they're gonna put that up there.
I
now.
don't give a shit. Moist.
God, that's gonna be a new soundbite we're gonna put on the show of you saying that.
Oh,
moist.
the Wayans brother? Yeah.
No, you saying moist.
Oh, yeah. You know, I don't care, dude. People make it sound, oh, Jimenez got cooked. I'm like, dude, I'm actually working and doing shit. I'm watching TV. Cooked as if I'm like paying attention to it. Dude, half the time I wake up and I see I have like 84 notifications and I go through them half the time. Some of the times I'm like, I got stuff to do. I got to go to work.
Usually after the show, that's why I'm kind of scarce on social media. I'm working, man.
Vein stain. Clip that, boys.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man. Mike's serving up gold today.
I'm gonna take that clip of the pedicure and I'll put that on TikTok and I'll put it on Twitter as well.
I'm gonna put that clip up.
You know what?
It's
Do you know what I'm gonna do?
moist.
What I'm gonna do? I said that I wouldn't do this, but I think we've got to because it would be great content.
What is it?
Let's get a group of us, man. 6, 8 dudes.
Oh,
Let's
fuck
go get a
that,
pedicure together, man. Let's just make it happen.
I'd
Wait,
rather
what's
just
the
hang
poll-
out the
what's the poll at
barbershop
right now?
man. Let's see what the poll is at. Poll right now, 73% say it's okay for a guy to get a pedicure. 27% say no.
Interesting. I think that we have become a lot more progressive as time has gone on. So
What? This is Mario Cavazos, moist as in Marbach. I'm like, what?
that's more like humid than moist. Tim Gonzalez brings up a really good point if we want to get back to sports, by the way.
Yeah.
Talking about a report about potential expansion cities for Major League Baseball. And ESPN.com posted an article earlier this morning saying that Major League Baseball expansion is coming. It's not a matter of when, but it's a matter of where. And they are looking for places to expand the league to 32 teams before 2029. And the list of candidates that they have, ESPN says that the number one city to land a Major League Baseball expansion team is somewhere between San Antonio and Austin.
It's going to be Austin, bro. There's not going to be any way, in my opinion, that San Antonio is going to be able to land an MLB team, the number one reason behind that is that the city council can't get their heads out of their own ass and build a freaking field. You know,
they're
got to
not
build this.
They're not saying San Antonio.
Oh, no, but I'm saying the thing is, I said, I know that won't happen here in San Antonio. Maybe in Austin, maybe somewhere else, but not here.
Austin probably couldn't do it by themselves.
No, they can't.
No, but what they're saying is, why not New Braunfels? Why not San Marcos? Why not someplace between New Braunfels and San Marcos? Like, say, like exit 192. You know, somewhere between there where you could actually have a base from both cities that would want to go.
Okay, and somewhere in between, I could see it working. You know, but in one particular city, it's
now if it's going to be done in Austin, for example, they said that it would be along the toll road where the Tesla headquarters are at and where the airport is. If it's going to be there in Austin, but it'd have to be marketed as a San Antonio Austin type of team in order for it to work. They're also saying that Charlotte, North Carolina, is an expansion possibility along with Mexico City. Montreal, going back over there, they had the Expos back in the day. Nashville, Tennessee is also up there. Orlando, Florida, though it's stinking hot. Portland, Oregon is also one of the.
Hey, Jason's over in Portland. Portland has nice weather this time of year, man.
Yeah. Salt Lake City is also one of the 10 candidates. But
man, Salt Lake City, bro, they racist as fuck over there, bro.
Chris Leha asking the question, why would you put a major league team in a small ass town? Which is a small ass town?
I think he's referring probably to San Antonio, man, or either that San Antonio or Austin.
Well, this is the interesting thing because let's go ahead and tell something to Austin people that they don't want to hear, and tell something to San Antonio people that they don't want to hear. We're going to be one metropolitan city in the next 5 to 10 years. In the year 2034, San Antonio and Austin will be a metropolitan area.
No, okay. Christopher Lea's report, he's referring to New Braunfels or San Marcos.
Well, where do the Cowboys play? The Cowboys don't play in Dallas.
Yeah,
they don't play in Irving anymore. They play in Arlington.
Yeah.
Small ass town. Small ass town.
Where
do the New England Patriots play? Foxborough, which is an hour outside of Boston.
Look at Matt Lerma. He says, "We the people can make it happen. Believe it or not, the OKC City Council was originally against the NBA coming to town, where the petitions and local businesses had to get involved." You see, the problem with having another sports team in town is that wasn't really, I guess, a focus for the city council, especially when you had one Nelson Wolf, the emperor that I referred to him as, running things, you know?
Right.
Now that he's gone and he's out of office, out of power, maybe something can happen, but damn it, you all have to get behind voting for something to be in place. That way it can be attractive to landing these types of teams. You know, hey, we're going to have a team, or we're going to really make a bid to have another sports team in town, whether it be, I don't know, it's going to be an MLB team. You got to build a facility for them, and it has to look nice. It can't be the fucking Alamo Dome, bro.
Well, no,
that shit's nasty.
Well,
man.
the days of the Alamo Dome have died. They have died. Did you know that the Frost Bank Center and where the Indiana Pacers play are identical arenas? They're identical.
Didn't know that.
It's very similar to like when you go to a house, like let's say that you were to go to a D.R. Horton home, right? Where you have the same floor plan, but with a different elevation where it looks different on the outside. But when you walk inside, it's the same. That is the AT&T Center, or what it was the AT&T Center, now the Frost with Indianapolis. It's the exact same arena, just with a different facade.
Yeah.
Just a different outside, different elevation. No, if they're going to build a new stadium, it's going to be celebrated. And that's going to need to have state funds going towards it. And it's going to have a business leadership that's there. That's where Austin comes into play, because as you can see, the money comes from there. They have Tesla, they have Dell, they have a lot of companies over there. They have a lot of money. San Antonio has the people. San Antonio and the San Antonio metropolitan area is larger than Austin and Austin's metropolitan area. So we have the people, they have the money. And where does San Antonio grow? San Antonio is growing north and has been for so long. And then Austin's growing south because more affordable homes are in the Kyle area,
Yeah.
Buda, where the Cabela's is out there, and San Antonio's going north. I went to Texas State for 2 years in the late 90s. When you left past Retama Park, there was nothing. There was a little town called New Braunfels, and then there was nothing until you got to San Marcos, and then basically nothing until you got to South Austin. The cities are merging together more and more. Right now, if you were to drive from now to like Southwest Texas State or Texas State right now,
Yeah.
you might only have 4 exits. 4 exits where there's like nothing on the side of the road. Like we have expanded north, they're expanding south, put a team somewhere there, or even if they put that team in East Austin, Southeast Austin,
Yeah.
it would be accessible for San Antonio because San Antonians could get there without having to go to Austin. Because if we have to go to we take a right at the Cabela's where the toll road is,
Buda.
where Buda is, that I would consider that to be a San Antonio team also, because I don't have to go into 6th Street and Congress and all that stuff.
Austin's nice. It's the traffic that sucks.
It does suck.
It's awful.
But you can avoid that.
Yeah.
If you can avoid that, that makes sense. That's where the Circuit of Americas is.
I like the toll road. I get to drive.
Yeah, 85.
It's nice and quiet.
85 and which really means 95.
It's nice and quiet. I get there quicker, in my opinion, because I don't have to put up with all the shit traffic.
Edmund reaches out and says it's not on just San Antonio officials to get another pro sports team. It's a variety of factors and stakeholders. That is true. Edmund says, well, actually, we had another. Jason Gonzalez says there's a 10-minute gap between San Marcos and New Braunfels city limits. Not much of a gap anymore. It used to be a larger gap back in the day. Edmund goes on to say San Antonio is indeed one of the nation's 10 largest cities in terms of population, but still lower ranked media market matters to advertisers and broadcasters. I'm glad that you brought that up, because if you take a look at the media ratings, the Nielsen ratings, right?
Yeah.
So the Nielsen television markets, right? The Nielsen television markets, number 1 is New York, followed by Los Angeles, then Chicago, then Philadelphia.
Yeah. I'll be right back, man. You keep going.
If you go down to number 31, you have the city of San Antonio. At number 35, Austin. And Austin is charging. When I was the TV media back in the day, Austin was like number 60, and it has climbed to number 35. But if we combine the metropolitan areas into one television market, you add the 31 to 35. Guess what? We're now in the top 15. We're in the same area as Seattle and Detroit, Minneapolis, Orlando, Denver. You add the metropolitan areas, and that's what happens, man. So I'm excited about the idea of San Antonio / Austin getting a team. It would probably be closer to Austin than it would be San Antonio, but I would go. And I'm a big fan of Major League Baseball, going to the games. I hate watching it on TV, but it kind of is what it is. Jason Garcia rather, saying they're building express lanes on I-35 on the northeast side. You know, if you were to go over there to Circuit of Americas, there's different ways of getting there. You don't have to go 35 north. You can actually go Highway 90 and go to like Luling and hook a left. You can get there different ways.
Yeah, sorry, man. I had to go and run to the front because I guess my employer sent me something.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. It has the branding all over the box. I got 2 of them, so we'll see what it is later.
You know, I got some boxes in the mail the other day from one of my vendors. Dude, I've been getting golf balls like crazy, man. And my friends get mad at me because they're like, dude, you don't even golf very well, and you're getting all these Pro V1s. And I'm like, it's okay if I lose them. They're free.
You're like, I don't give a shit. It's free.
Yeah, she's like, well, that box is normally like $60, $70. I'm like, well, to me, it's free. That's what happens, baby.
Oh, look at this. Jonathan C says, what is the criteria for a city to be a big media market? You know, the problem with San Antonio is they don't have a lot of corporate businesses here, big names.
This is where we come in to say San Antonio is a poor city.
If you look at like for example, Austin, they have a lot of big name companies that have set up shop there. They have money. What do we have beyond just like the USAAs?
Well, because San Antonio doesn't think big.
Yeah,
There's not one visionary in San Antonio. And I guess probably the biggest visionary we've had over the years is Henry Cisneros, former mayor, former HUD secretary in the Clinton White House.
We're not saying that the people here are necessarily poor. San Antonio has a lot of educated people.
No, we don't.
And they have educated people that'll come here and they set up shop and they make money. It's just the cost of living here is not what it costs everywhere else. And I'm not saying that everybody's dumb. I mean, not everybody in San Antonio is educated with, doctorates or masters, things of that nature. I get that. It's hard to get those degrees because of the time required and the commitment. I get all that. I'm not saying anything bad about San Antonio in that regards. It's just that we need more money here. We need more big name companies to come here.
The problem that we have in the city of San Antonio is that we're small-minded when it comes to how we do things. There's no visionary when it comes to things. I mean, Henry Cisneros rolled the dice with the Alamo Dome, believing that if you build it, they will come. And the NFL didn't come. But fortunately for the city of San Antonio, the Alamo Dome, as horrendous as it's looked, has actually turned a profit. They make money. They have big events that have been there. There have been boxing events.
They've paid it off.
Bowl games. We had NBA finals there. We've had Final Fours. So there's been more positives than negatives when it came to the Alamo Dome. I would love for them to just destroy it and rebuild it.
Yeah. Maybe the Spurs can get Daddy Elon to come on here and buy some stake in the company.
Do something.
They already got Mr. Dell. Why can't they get Elon Musk?
But we were asking the question: is San Antonio or is Bexar County, quote unquote, poor? Yeah, we are, and it's because the jobs aren't here, and the jobs aren't here because we don't.
They don't have the big companies.
Do you know why? Because we don't roll out the red carpet. Because we are all of the belief that you have to earn something before being given something.
It's the mindset.
Well, I mean, okay. So for example, you and I were talking about Tyron Smith yesterday, and I was telling you got to pay them for past performance, and you were like, well, no, you got to pay him for who he is as a player today. The problem with San Antonio is that in order to attract businesses, you need to roll out the red carpet. You need to give tax incentives, and you need to give incentives on water and electricity.
They did that with Toyota.
And San Antonians are like, no, if they want to do business here, they're going to have to play by our rules. And then guess what? They don't fucking come here. You know why? Because you don't roll out the fucking red carpet. That's why.
They did that in the past, right, with Toyota, right? When Toyota wanted to set up shop here, they
Yeah.
rolled out the red carpet for them. And then everything just kind of stops. You need to entice big business to come here to change things, because those big businesses, like they were saying, Edmund Ortiz says, they help sponsor, professional sporting clubs.
Now, Edmund says corporate presence, and he's mentioning companies like HEB. HEB is a small company.
Well, here in San Antonio, they're
it's a regional.
I know
grocery store.
I know it's that national
that has
chain.
like one show that has like one store in Dallas.
Yeah, they don't.
It is a regional thing. That's like saying
they're not outside of Texas.
That's like saying saying Security Service Federal Credit Union.
Yeah,
or Credit Human. I mean, it's a big company in San Antonio, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to Kroger and Albertsons and all of that, it's a small company.
Yeah. And the thing is,
and USA is also client owned. So it can't do things the way that a for-profit, company that is, publicly traded can do. They're a client-owned company, so they have certain standards and guidelines won't let them spend so much money.
The one thing that it's also a faux pas for San Antonio, or downfall for it, is the way that they have the public transit set up. It's the Via is the only thing.
Well, right, but okay, keep going.
No, because I'm saying the people had opportunity in the past to get light rail set up in place. That would have been great, because it would have been easy to get from downtown somewhere on 410, maybe 1604. If you're a tourist, man, that would have been great for you. You could get in and out, go around town on the light rail versus having to wait for the bus, You have options right now. It's Via or bust.
You hit the nail on the head, and I'm glad that I shut up to hear you say that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay.
You hit the nail on the head, because what I'm saying is that San Antonio doesn't have any visionaries. Light rail. If San Antonio wanted light rail, we would get light rail, right? If San Antonio
People
wanted
vote
it,
against it.
we would get it. People vote against it. Why? Because we're poor and uneducated. That's why. And it's because there's no vision of like what the cities need to be in. My daughter is in Asia right now, right? She's on vacation, doing her thing with her grandmother over there, visiting, her mom's side of the homeland and all that stuff, right? If you go over to Dubai, if you go over to Tokyo, if you go over to Hong Kong, they are years ahead of Texas
Public transportation.
because
man.
of public transit. And they understand that there's different ways of doing it beyond the whole idea of getting in the car and going.
Yeah.
Dude, if there was a train that got me from San Antonio to Austin in 45 minutes, I wouldn't drive. I would use it.
I would use it too, dude. I would not. I mean, driving from here to Austin is not something you want to do.
No.
Because of the traffic.
And it's just so funny. And that's what I'm saying is that San Antonio is so backwards in thinking, not forward thinking. That's why when you go to like Dallas or Houston, and to some extent Austin, they're more forward thinking. They're thinking about what it's going to be like in 2034 and 2044 and 2054.
How are we going to move the people?
And that's why the cities have grown, and that's why businesses have come there. Businesses don't come to San Antonio because we're backwards thinking.
How many planes does it take to get to San Antonio?
What's that?
How many planes does it take to get to San Antonio?
From where? Well, it depends on where you're coming from.
Exactly. That's the other thing that's a faux pas for San Antonio is the number of connecting flights you got to get from San Antonio to anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, they've even said that, like big companies that have come over here, they're like, San Antonio is a great place. We would have liked to set up shop here, cost of living and everything. It's hard to fly here. It's hard to get here.
Matt Lermo's talking about paying a living wage and all that stuff. I missed it because
I'll show it to you. Let me go up here.
So Matt Lermo reached out and says our city council gives away tax incentives like it's candy. San Antonio has a law that says if you get tax incentives, you have to pay a living wage. That's why Marushan, if I'm pronouncing stayed out. Well, I mean, it's funny because these other cities that are giving away tax incentives are bringing in corporations that also have living wages. Are you telling me Tesla doesn't? You telling me that Dell doesn't? And then also part of it is the pipeline of the schools. I think that's probably the biggest thing that we need to focus on in San Antonio is the education system here when it comes to things like UTSA, when it comes to Trinity, when it comes to UIW. Because, again, a lot of the minds are in Texas at UT in Austin. The smartest of minds go to UT Austin. A lot of them do. And they don't stay. You know what?
What's interesting, I went in on a tour, right, of a campus there in Austin about a week or two ago with my boy, right? Because that's one of the colleges he's looking into. One of the things that was very attractive to both of us looking at this college, 3 miles from downtown Austin. And the field that he wants to go into, there's companies littered all over Austin that specialize in that, big companies. And if you want to go ahead and intern there, you're 3 miles from your campus to downtown Austin, where you can intern it with some of the biggest companies in the world there. You get an opportunity to show them what you can do. And if they know that you're studying to, graduate in that field, more than likely they're going to want to hire you, So it's like, and the good thing is you can get on the bus, you could walk there. But the good thing that I see about Austin is the opportunity, especially if you're a young person trying to, make it in this world, you're going to college. You have a lot of access to things that are close by,
San Antonio has done a good job, though. I'll give positives of the city of San Antonio.
I'm not saying everything's bad here.
The medical side of things.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
From the UTL Science Center, amazing.
Yeah.
To what goes on at SAMC, amazing. So there are some spots that San Antonio has done a very, very good job in. And if San Antonio can be a place for this is where you go to get this type of operation. This is where you go for this and the other. Because like cancer, for example, Houston corners that, right? People go to Houston for cancer treatment. But San Antonio, you come to San Antonio for burns. You come to San Antonio for other things, right? So there are some positive things.
They have a big trauma unit here.
But Matt Lerma reached out and says city council tries, but some companies like Hyatt don't end up their end of the deal.
That's another thing
See,
too.
but that's the thing, is that San Antonio holds on to being a tourist town, and we got to be more than just a tourist town. Because
Yeah.
what our mirror image is Orlando. Orlando, you think of Orlando, what do you think?
Tourist town.
Tourist town.
Yeah.
You don't think of Orlando as being big business.
What's that main strip that they have right there by Orlando, by the Orlando Eye, that big Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
And you can just go walking up and down there. It's
Mhm.
kind of like a river walk, but it's not, because you got to walk. It's paved. And all it is littered with shops, restaurants, all up and down the area with, a lot of hotels and all that. I forgot the name of the street. But that's what it is. It's a tourist destination. And they have all the theme parks there,
They do. But you get trapped in that mindset
Yeah.
of it being a touristy
Yeah.
type of place. Now, I will tell you one thing that would put San Antonio on the map and would bring business and money to San Antonio. I can tell you what it is.
I know what you're going to say already.
The day that gambling becomes
There you go.
legal.
There you go.
Because Tall Tale. You want to hear a Tall Tale?
I'll hear a tall tale.
When I was a news reporter 20 years ago, I got my hands on MGM Grand's plans for the city of San Antonio.
Yeah.
And MGM Grand wanted to open up a casino right next to SeaWorld.
That would have been pretty cool.
And they had plans to open up one by SeaWorld. They had a plan to open up one by Retama Park. And also there was plans to have a casino opened up along where Toyota Field is on the north side of town, northeast side of
Way
town.
over there. SAFC plays there. Yeah.
So that was the plan. And they were saying, we just hope one day. So casinos secretly have been holding on to certain properties in Texas, specifically San Antonio. So the idea that MGM had, and they still do to some respect from what I understand, is that when gambling becomes legal in Texas, that the legislature would allow only a handful of casinos to open up, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of them, or at least half of them, would be in San Antonio. The rest would be in Dallas. So if they open up 5 casinos, or they allowed 5 companies to come in, San Antonio would be the gambling destination of the state.
That would be pretty cool. If they had like casinos up and down the Riverwalk, can you imagine, dude? Going on a weekend, just sitting at the casino, placing your sports bets and watching the event in front of you with your buddies, having a good time, having a drink, watching either a boxing event, UFC, it could be, NBA basketball, Spurs, it could be anything, MLB, but you're having a good time, man.
So the legislature has debated this, and they meet every 2 years. And the problem is that you're getting the number of people that you need for sports betting is one aspect of it all. And then it's casino betting. Those are 2 different things. And it's thawing out. The belief that we don't need to have this, don't want this, is going away. But in order for it to be passed by the legislature, it needs to be brought up. It passed the House, right?
Yeah.
Has to come up because there's a state amendment, constitutional amendment against gambling. So it needs to pass the House, the Senate has to pass the governor's signature, and it then has to go to the people, and the people have to then vote to repeal that particular amendment, right? So it's a process. It passed the House. It had enough support in the Senate, but the person who runs the Senate decided not to bring it up because he was like, well, I want the majority of Republicans to support it as well. And it was right at around 50-50.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, Rolling Thunder, Greg Abbott, was not going to sign it anyway. So really, it's just 2 people who are preventing this. And my question for this, especially for those who consider themselves to be conservative, why would you not want this to go to the people? If this is what the people, if this is what the people want, why are we afraid of certain democracy things going through? Okay.
I don't know.
But what I want to bet on is how pissed off Cowboy fans are going to be when Dak Prescott becomes the richest man
Dakota
in
Rain
NFL
Prescott.
history.
Hey, but before we get into that,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and play a quick ad read
Yeah.
from our good boy here supporting us today in the chat here, Christopher Leha,
Yeah.
MCS General Contracting.
Go ahead.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Chris Leah, good man. I spoke to him this morning. Hoping to have his company look at my stuff.
Yeah.
Again, all the concrete. We were talking about maybe extending the patio, doing various things. Going to resurface my front porch. Looking forward to working with those guys.
If you want things done right, call MCS General Contracting. Chris has many years of experience, and you don't necessarily want things done for the cheapest price. You want them done right the first time, and it's an investment. That way you don't have to have this job that you go ahead and want Chris to go ahead and take care of for you, whether it's extending the patio or resurfacing concrete, whatever it is. You want it done right the first time, call Chris.
And you want it done by somebody who gives a crap and takes pride in what they do.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what MCS does. I'm looking at, if you want to go to my screen real fast.
Sure.
I like this headline. It says the staggering cost of Dak Prescott's contract extension for the Dallas Cowboys. And it was revealed by the Bleacher Report. One of their reporters was talking about it, and Blogging the Boys picked this up as well. I was listening to RJ Ochoa last night on Blogging the Boys about this. And the prediction is that Cowboy fans are going to be pissed off when this happens, because Dak Prescott is going to get a raise from $40 million to more than likely becoming the NFL's first $60 million man.
That's great.
And that would be a contract of 5 years, $300 million, with the majority of it being guaranteed.
That's Jerry's fault, because he's just going ahead and throwing money and celebrating mediocrity.
Dak Prescott might be the smartest guy in all of the NFL.
Oh, he fleeced Jerry.
What he has done, dude, I've burped twice and I never burp. I'm like the anti-burper. I never do. I don't know if it's coming out, but I've been burping like crazy with this Diet Coke.
That's why I'm drinking water or tea.
So the thing about this contract is that Dak has bet on himself, and he's bet on the fact that he's not getting hurt. And because he hasn't been getting hurt, I mean, he had that one season where he missed
broken ankle.
He missed about 5 or 6 games, and Cooper Rush came and righted the ship a little bit. But Dak Prescott's been making about $40 million a year, and he's been signing these 3-year deals, these 4-year deals. He hasn't signed that big Patrick Mahomes 10-year deal. But this might be the time when he goes, you know what? I'm going to put my name down for 5 more years of leading the Dallas Cowboys at $60 million a pop. RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys, also on San Antonio Sportscast on Robin and what do they call it now? Robin RJ?
Yeah.
So I think it's still R&R, right? But the thing about it is that he was saying this is the way that the NFL works. The NFL works where when it's a star quarterback's turn to go up and get a contract, they just build on top of it. Next person in line, like Lamar Jackson became the highest, and then it was at one point it was Joe Burrow, and then at one point it was Patrick Mahomes, and you just build on top of it. And he basically said it is Dak Prescott's turn. But on top of that, the reason why the Cowboys have to pay him is because they have no alternative other than to pay him. Because if they cut him, a cap hit of $59.4 million this year, which would gut the team.
That's a lot.
Number 2, his contract states that he cannot be franchise tagged. So the Cowboys can't string him along like they did Tony Pollard. Also, Dak has a no trade clause, so they can't trade him. So Dak negotiated a contract, and Jerry Jones signed it, and Stephen Jones signed it, where they said, we can't franchise tag you, we can't trade you, and if we get rid of you, it's going to decimate our team. This guy is not only holding every single card in the deck, he's holding the jokers too.
Yep. That's why Jerry should have went ahead and cut Dak and cut Zeke when he had the opportunity to do so. He made bad decisions, and unfortunately for Cowboy fans, it's going to cost you potentially a trip to go into the Super Bowl, because the problem is the team as a whole. It's not just 1 or 2 pieces. it's the collective that he's put together here, and he hasn't done it the right way. I mean, he's gone after Dak. Dak is an okay quarterback. He's just proven he's not the guy. You're
I mean,
overpaying for that.
Think about how difficult it's going to be for the Cowboys to compete with the Niners. When
Oh,
you're
yeah,
paying
man.
this guy $60 million,
Can't get anybody.
but Brock Purdy's making $950,000.
That's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
I mean, think about that. Think about that. Patrick Mahomes, for crying out loud, makes 45.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy took the 49ers to the fucking Super Bowl. Pay the guy.
I mean, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl on a rookie deal as well. Patrick Mahomes made it on a rookie deal.
God.
That's catching lightning in a bottle when you try to do
That's
that.
why the fucking Cowboys are going to be my Sancha team this coming season, because I'm fucking done with this shit, dude. I'm done with
the
them.
window's closed. They've got to pay Micah
done.
Parsons. And Micah Parsons, according to Bleacher Report, can be pushed out to next year as far as giving him the raise.
Yeah.
But this year, you have to pay CeeDee Lamb also. Tyron Smith wants a deal. You've already given deals to Trayvon Diggs. You've given deals to other players. You're running out of money.
I mean, you're gonna have to. They're already over the cap, and they're having to pay for that. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do now?
Dak Prescott, not only holds every card in the deck, but he knows that the Cowboys can't do anything. And Dak Prescott, only 2 victories, 2-5 record in the playoffs.
I can hear Dak Prescott telling Jerry just in his Tim Duncan voice, "Gotcha."
Gotcha.
Doesn't even have to talk shit to Jerry. Just pass by him. Gotcha.
$60 million for Dak Prescott, because he ain't gonna settle for 59.
Oh no.
It has to be 6-0 on the dot.
Yeah.
The cap hits 59.4. May as well, right?
Look at Chris Gonzalez says, are the Cowboys going to rebuild? Nope. They're going to be laden in mediocrity once again. It's going to be another disappointing season for Cowboy fans. Let's see if the team, based on what's going to happen in this offseason, are they going to be competitive enough to even make, the wild card,
The window has closed. No
lies detected.
But Dak Prescott second.
I'm with Hanover Fist. Let's run Trey Lance out there and see what the hell he can do.
Well, I mean, we need to get Dak hurt to make that happen.
Hey,
but Dak Prescott.
You don't think I'm wishing for that every time I see him running for his life?
But he threw for 4,500 yards last year, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, was runner-up when it came to the MVP vote. I mean,
he can't win the big game. You're getting paid that much, and you can't win the big game.
He's been with the Cowboys for 8 years. He's 30 years old. We know what we got.
Put him out to pasture, man. What do they do with those racehorses, dude?
They determined to glue.
It might be time. He's pulled up lame already. He's got a bad leg. He got a bad ankle, should I say.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that poll regarding.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. The latest poll, it's telling us right now, is it okay for guys to get a pedicure? It was kind of dipping down into the 70s. It went back up as of the latest readings here. 82% have said it's okay for a guy to get a pedicure. 18% now say no.
Dude, look at that. Look at that right there. They shave it down. I mean, and then they put your feet in hot water with salt, and it just eats away at
Why
all
can't
the
I do
crap.
that? I got a bucket.
No,
I
you
just fill it
can't.
with water,
You
bro.
You don't have what they
I
got.
got Epsom salt.
You don't got what they got. You don't got the jets that go on with it. You don't have that hand that just massages your foot, and then they get that cheese grater and this big old mountain of Parmesan. That's really
nasty,
it's your dead skin.
No,
dude. I tell you what, dude. If you got a pedicure, you'd be touching your feet the entire time, dude. You'd be like you'd be home. You'd be walking around barefoot, and he'd be staring at your feet. It is a great experience, but again, do it with a girl, do it by yourself. But a bunch of dudes, I would do. You know what? You know who I'm going to ask? Do you know who I'm going to ask?
Jeff.
I'm going to ask Mike Taylor and Rudy J to go with me. God, bro. Just for the content of it all. It'll be like a joint show content. Don't forget to subscribe to Mike Taylor and Rudy J in the building.
Hey, that would be something me and DJ LG could do as a live show, We'll team up and get that done.
Jonathan C says, your feet are bad when the Vietnamese ladies start talking in their language as they work on your feet. Okay, it reminds me of
For real.
40-year-old virgin. Cancel all my future appointments. Hold all calls.
For the waxing.
Kelly Clarkson. Now that I wouldn't do.
That was actually did that.
I know, but that's something that I would never do. But the brows, fine.
Oh, God. Look at Mario Cavazos. What place do you recommend, Mike, for a pedicure? Make them a sponsor.
Well, you know what's that?
God.
What's that comedian that used to be a Raiders? The one Kiki girl. What's her name? Angela Johnson. By the way, back in the day when she was a Nugget.
Oh, she used to be what was it, a cheerleader, I think, for the Raiders at the time.
Yeah,
way back in the day.
I've seen her before, and she says she has oftentimes said that you want to go to the places that say nail without the S on it, like Fancy Nail or whatever. Not Fancy Nails, Fancy Nail. You know, Sparkling Nail. Because if it doesn't have the S on it, it's a legit place.
Oh gosh,
she's a Nugget.
Angelica is in the tournament. You know what? We're gonna have to have the Nugget tournament.
Yeah.
You know, in honor of March Madness, we're gonna go ahead and wrangle together some of these gals and have the listeners or the viewers vote.
I think the 1 seeds right now are probably Ana de Armas, Sydney Sweeney, Paige Sporonic, and who's the 4th 1 seed?
What about Scarlett Johansson? She's still hot.
Yeah, I mean, she was a 1 seed back in the day. I think she's like a 4 seed now. We'll think of a 4th one. The 4th one will be Brittany Mahomes.
Oh God, man. You know what? The one thing about her though is she's loyal as hell, dude.
Yeah.
She's been with Patrick since they've been in high school. That's your ride or die, bro.
She has been. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. But yeah, so I'm glad that we have a very progressive listener group here who says that they're okay going to the pedicures. Now, getting a massage, I've done it before several times. Not the biggest fan. Not the biggest fan.
Look at Hanover Fist. I like Dumb and Dumber when they get the ankle grinder.
It kind of works that way, man. It kind of works that way.
What does he say here? Jonathan C. Yeah, she has 500 million reasons to be loyal. She knew where Pat was going.
Dude, he was just a sophomore in high school when they got together. He didn't know where he was going.
Oh, he's
like, oh man, I saw your JV football game. You were epic.
Jeez, man.
Oh my goodness. But this has been a fun show.
Hey,
I got to get back to the office.
Before we go ahead and end the show too, we got to give some love to our boy, Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia, Lockdown Spurs, Kens 5.
Lockdown Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Lockdown Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Kens 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and threads.
Look at this, man. I love Hanover Fist. Hey, look at his comment. I'm going to put it up on screen so you can see this, man. This is hilarious. Oh, no, it was Gert.
It was Garrett. Garrett from the Netherlands. Have CT's sister as a number 1 seed to have a shot, Mike. LOL.
Carolina was actually supposed to be on today, but she couldn't because she got busy last minute. And I apologized to her and I said, girl, I forgot to tell you to be on Tuesday. So I was texting her and, you know, I missed her call and we're texting back and forth, but she just couldn't make it.
I like where Garrett's mind is going, man. That is some smart thinking, right? J-Lo coming to San Antonio July 5th. I wonder if Ashanti's coming in Sierra because all her hit songs were sung by Ashanti and Sierra. J-Lo is a fraud.
Oh my God. Well, look at Hanover Fist was talking. You all talk about Vic getting with Louis Vuitton. We did
We
actually.
did.
We talked about that yesterday's show, and then we talked about the billboard that was put up in San Antonio earlier. So
And now we
check
have
that out.
all. We're gonna have all those fake handbags come to San Antonio. Is Margot Robbie the 4th 1 seed?
Hey, she's cute too, man. She's really cute.
I mean, Wolf of Wall Street. She was Barbie. She's up there. I like it. I like CT's sister being the number 1 seed.
Oh God.
You know what? You know what? Let's put. I'll ask for permission first.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'll ask CT,
My
and
God.
I'll ask CT if it's okay if she's on the list. If she's like, if I put her down as a 5 seed, what happens?
Oh,
What
look at Chris
happens?
Gonzalez. Did we talk Cowboys? Remember, you were
Yeah, we did.
always talk Cowboys. Yeah, we did talk Cowboys. We just a couple minutes ago we were talking Cowboys.
Yeah, rewind about 12 minutes. We had a whole thing about how Dak
Yeah.
Prescott has
Before we
Jerry
end the
Jones bent
show?
over.
Poll. Final tally here. 82% say yes, it's okay to get a pedicure, for a guy to get a pedicure. 18% say no.
RCW Royal Rumble is this weekend. RCW Wrestling turning 22.
Oh,
Go check out our girl
CT
CT
on Sunday?
MC. The event is Sunday, February 25th, 6709 Northwest Loop 410. Doors open at 4. Event open at 5. I'll be drunk at 3.
God.
I'll check it out.
And what did you say if you're there at the event?
The
For
first 2 stop. That's the spot me, say Jimenez, and you have to show to me that you subscribe to my channel, our channel. I'll get you a beer.
There you go. A
Get you
free beer.
Some of the female wrestlers look pretty nice.
Maybe
Mhm.
Demon Mike time.
Mhm. Everyone have a great day. Is it hump day? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It's my Friday, man. So thank God I'll be off tomorrow.
Everyone have an amazing day. My name's Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This was the Alamo City Sportscast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button on the way out, and share with your friends.
Yeah. Oh, and just a heads up too, guys. There's no show for Rudy today. So Sweep the League is not going to have a show today, but they're going to return to business on Friday.
Oh, do I have to jump back on it too? Is that what I got to
God.
do?
Maybe you want to jump on. You can jump on. I'll be working.
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Latest.